Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wassalamu rasulullah. You're listening to Islam Always, and this is in a series that we're doing on the subject of questions that come to us about Allah. Question number 2 says, can we prove there is a God? Now, we've already referred to the scientific evidences that scientists have said this or that. But then, if we keep in mind that scientists have also declared there was no God, they wouldn't really be a reliable source because they could change their mind again next week. So let us consider something else. We'll begin with simple logic. When something is right in front of our eyes, it is difficult to deny it, right? Asking rhetorical questions can be real helpful in presenting our case. Consider. We'll begin by asking the question, can you prove you exist? Yes, of course you can. You merely use your senses to determine what you see, what you hear, what you feel, smell, taste, and all of the emotions or feelings that you have. All of this is a part of our existence, right? But this is not how we perceive the God in Islam. We look to the things that He's created and the way that He cares for things and sustains those things. Then there will be no doubt about His existence. Somebody might argue against belief in God based on the lack of testable physical evidence. However, in light of what we've already presented here and the testimony of well-known scientists to the contrary, it is they who are actually lacking in evidence for their position of denial. They might say, we don't see any God, we don't hear any God, therefore there's no God. However, no being able to hear, see something with your physical eyes and ears. Now, you know what? This is a mistake. Hold on. However, not being able to see or hear something with your physical eyes and ears does not prove it doesn't exist. It could be that they're looking with their eyes for a God of their own imagination. In fact, this is the core of their problem. Allah is not like the gods of other religions, wherein they're being compared to man or other creatures. Often these religions offer a comparison to humans and His attributes with limited abilities and limited knowledge. This is not the case of Allah mentioned in the Quran. Nobody sees or hears Allah, not even Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Nor are we able to use our senses to make some kind of contact with Him. However, we're encouraged in Islam to use our senses and our common sense to recognize all of this universe could not possibly have come into existence by itself. Something had to design it all and then put it into motion. This is beyond our ability to do, yet it is something we can understand. We don't have to see an artist to recognize a painting, right? So if we see paintings without seeing the artist actually painting them, we accept those are still paintings. In the same way, we can believe Allah created everything without having to see Him, or touch, or hear, etc. The Quran is the best of the proofs of the existence of Allah, and today, over 1.5 billion people memorize and recite things from the text, the exact same language, which is Arabic. And more than 10 million Muslims have completely memorized the entire Quran from cover to cover, and they recite it from memory without looking at it. We know from the teachings of Muhammad, peace be upon him, the proofs of the existence of Allah are most obvious to us in our everyday surroundings. Anyone with understanding would quickly acknowledge His existence, provided they are not so stubborn as to ignore the obvious evidences in front of us. One approach is to suggest simple yet convincing experiments anybody can comprehend. For example, say to somebody, consider this the next time you're looking up at the moon or the stars on a clear night. Could you drop a drinking glass on a sidewalk and expect it to hit the ground, and on impact that it would not shatter, but rather it would divide up into little small drinking glasses with iced tea already in them? Of course not. And then remind them again, look up at what you're seeing. Look at the moon. Look at the stars. Look at what you see around you. How did this come about as a matter of accident? Another example is to have them consider what might happen if a tornado came through a junkyard and tore up all the old cars, and then leave behind a nice new Mercedes automobile with the engine running, and by the way, no parts are left over. Could this happen by coincidence? No, of course not. Or ask somebody to consider what it would be like if somebody told us about a fast food restaurant that just opened up down the street, but it doesn't have any people that work there. The food cooks itself, flies from the kitchen to the table when it's ready. The dishes jump back to the kitchen to wash themselves. And now this is too crazy for anybody to even think about. Yet, as you wouldn't accept that in a restaurant, you would accept something like this for the whole entire creation of the universe and how it's continuing going on its course. After reflecting on all of the above, how could we look at the universe and all the things around us, whether through the telescope or through the microscope when we consider the molecules and atoms, and then think of all of this and how it came about as a result of an accident, or what they call the Big Bang? We'd like to refer you again to some of our websites on this subject and let you think about it. Visit our internet website at islamyesterday.com and follow the links to science. Also, visit our internet website at godallah.com or Islam Always. And we always bring you back to that one because that's where everything links from. IslamAlways.com. That's ISLAMALWAYS.com for a rebroadcast of this and other exciting programs. And we're always open 24 hours a day and always plenty of free parking.